you work from home like I do, you probably spend an average of 8 hours a day at your desk. Why not have a workspace that is visually pleasing? The most basic tip to having a clean work setup is having a good cable management. This is Ben from Technologically Curious, and in this video I will show you some tips on how to achieve a simple and clean cable management in just under $30. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button as well as the notification bell icon to receive more tech content. In my last video of my office desk setup, link in the description below, I received a lot of good comments on my clean desk setup. I thought, why not make a video explaining how I achieved a clean desk setup? So let's get started. Actually, let's take a step back before getting into cable management. Let's talk about why I chose certain items for my setup. I wanted my setup to have as many wireless desk items as possible to make sure my cable management was a tad bit easier. My keyboard, mouse, and desk lamp can be used wirelessly. They just need to be charged occasionally, which I do using a retractable USB cable I attached behind the monitor. If you're building a desk setup from scratch, I highly recommend that you at least choose a wireless keyboard and mouse. Preferably Bluetooth over USB, which will otherwise take up one more port. I have a Sonos setup that just needs one cable to the power outlet. Unlike other traditional speakers, it doesn't need to have a separate cable running to a computer or laptop because it connects through Wi-Fi. So that's one less cable to worry about and another reason why I chose these speakers. My speakers are on two stands I picked from Amazon who have a good cable management. I tucked the power cable under the desk drawers to hide the extra cable. Just one thing I wanted to mention is my Sonos speaker setup is pretty expensive with the Sonos Play 5s, but there are cheaper options that are also available like the Sonos One and the Sonos SL. I'm an audiophile, so I went a bit crazy with my setup. For rest of the desk items that need to be wired, I moved them to the edge of the desk against the wall. That easily helps hide the cables behind the desk. So to organize and bundle the cables, I needed just 3 items: velcro cable ties, adhesive cable clips, and cable ties. All this for just under $30. I got these from Amazon. They usually come in a large pack of 50. You can use them for other purposes in the house, so technically you're getting much more value for the $30 that you're spending. Before I get into more details on cable management, it is important to mention that I transformed my sit desk to also work as a standing desk. So it was very important that no cables were exposed or kept moving around, even after the desk is fully in the standing position. To achieve this, the power source had to be fixed in one place, so that no cable has to be stretched, which means of course no dangling cables. I first attached the power strip under the desk with screws. I made sure the power cord was white so that it blends in with my white wall, and the plug was L-shaped so that it stays flush against the wall. The power strip has a decent number of ports, 7 AC outlets and 3 USB-A ports, which is plenty much for my setup. Then I connected all the wired items to this power strip. By the way, I also attached the power adapter of the electric desk frame with screws under the desk. My next step was to roll up the access cord with velcro cable ties. I chose black velcro cable ties because most of the cables are black. Not that it matters because it's always going to be hidden under the desk, but the OCD in me just wanted to have it that way. Once the excess cables were bundled up, I used adhesive cable clips to attach the items under the desk. By the way, here's another tip. If you have a light strip attached behind your desk like I do, you're most likely going to run some cables over it. Now what it does is it creates a shadow on the wall when the light strip is on. So I align the cables between the individual LEDs on the strip, and to keep it from moving, I then immediately attached it to one of the adhesive cable clips under the desk on the edge. I also use the adhesive cable clips to hide the extra cable that connects my MacBook to the monitor. This USB Type-C to USB Type-C cable also charges my laptop, which kind of eliminates having another power cable attached to your laptop. So that's another cable to not worry about. The adhesive cables are good with thin to medium sized cables, but for thicker cables I had to use adhesive cable ties. I used it specifically for the main power cord. I added an additional leg I bought from IKEA to add stability to my white desk. But this additional leg also serves another purpose. It helps hide part of the power cord. Behind the leg, I added multiple cable ties to hide and hold the power cord. And of course, I clipped the extra ends. I kept the ties a bit loose so that the cable had room to move when the desk changes its positions. So the result of this left my desk setup showing a bit of cable in just 3 places. There is just one cable from the monitor to the laptop, a small portion of the monitor cable cord that cannot be hidden because of the way the monitor arm is designed, and the main cord that sources power to everything on my desk. Even if my desk is in a sit or stand position, you won't see any cords with my cable management setup. When doing cable management, if you're planning to set up your desk from scratch, I would highly recommend to first give it a thought on what the desk items will be, and if possible, choose as many wireless options. This is Ben from Technologically Curious, and these were my tips on how to achieve a simple cable management in just under $30.